Alright, so here's the engine bay. I think one of the things that you wanted to look at was the let's see, well here, okay, right on the flange here, where for the oil cooler is where I plugged in the sender for the oil temperature gauge, and it's right there. Okay, that's the oil filter, oil cooler. Right on top of that, I took off the one that came in there, and I just put my own there for the outer meter gauge that I got. For the boost, turbo boost, this intake here actually has that little nipple there, and I just plug in my hose, my vacuum hose, right in there, and it worked right away. So that was actually pretty easy. It was a no-brainer after all. One of the other things is also the air filter. I mean, as you can see, I mean it's pretty nice and sturdy there. Okay, and all I had to do was bend that thing right there, and there was already a hole there, so I just bolted it in. There's another one of these actually inside in there, and I had to drill a hole, and I just put a bolt. I don't think you can see that in there, but yeah, it's too dark, but it's right in there. And it was actually pretty easy to do also. What I had to do here, in order for some of the stuff that came in here not to touch the engine cover, I removed a whole bunch of things that came probably like this high, and I think that was for the cruise control stuff. I bent this bracket here, where the accelerator cable goes. I bent it down, and I cut a piece here so I can actually bend it down so it wouldn't touch here on the top. I probably wouldn't have to do that now that I actually lowered the engine, but I did at that point because it was actually really high. Here is the carrier. Okay, they usually come this bolt here. Okay, the bottom one is the one that bolts here. But what I did is I lowered it, okay, and I made the holes here bigger, so I could bolt the carrier. I did the same exact thing on the other side, okay, right in there. But what I did on the bottom, and let me show you what I did on the bottom. I went to the hardware store and I got some metal, like very thick metal. Okay, it's also used for building. You put on the like 90-degree connections, I guess, if you would call them that way. And I had somebody weld, as you can see the welding there. Okay, I went to the muffler shop with a guy that I know, and he welded that stuff there. There's more welding to do, but it's going to require the carriers to be lowered or moved so that we can weld it a little better. But I just wanted to get a couple of dots in there, so just to be a little safer right now. But that's what I had to do, and I did the same exact thing on the other side, as you can see. It's probably not the best thing. I guess if I was to do it again, I would drill some holes here in the middle instead of using the ones here on top. Oops. So I would drill some holes here instead of using these here. That way I would get just a little more, I would just have it a little higher. But this works for right now, and I don't have any time to redo this whole thing. So other than that, I mean, again, everything is pretty much there, and it's kind of nice and easy. Place here is where I'm going to put the oil cooler. This, I actually took it out because it was ratting a little bit. I didn't do a good job of bolting it in and putting the little rubber thingies in there. So I'm gonna redo that, and I'll send some video when I'm done with that. The intercooler I'm gonna put right in there, right in that space. And I see the setups that Justin does at Greaseworks, and that has worked for him, and it looks pretty easy and looks kind of clean. I was gonna put it over there, but I really like that box in there, so I'm just gonna go with the setup here on this other side. So this is our Westy. Okay, now I'm gonna go inside and show you a couple of things. I know, it's like a videotaping, but anyway, this is inside, and this is a cluster from an 85, and I still can't get the commutator to work. Kind of sucks. I ended up putting the gauges right down there, and what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to put a little base on the bottom that actually kind of tilts it so I can actually see the numbers easier. I can see them now and it's fine. I don't need to be looking at them every 30 seconds, but you know, I'll just put a base on the bottom. And I actually like that place there because it's kind of, I mean, it's pretty clean and it's easy, and if I need to replace that bottom part, it's actually pretty easy to find in a junkyard. For some reason I don't like it in the future, instead of making holes here on the top, because that would suck to replace the whole thing. The thing that I did is I connected, or from the glow plug relay, I got a cable and I guided it through the front, and I made it so that the glow plug light actually turns on right there where the oxygen sensor light used to be. And so when I turn on my light, I get this. So you see the light turn on right there, and after 7 seconds it's going to go away once the head is warm enough to turn on the engine. And then after that, I just turn it on. And there it is. Nice and smooth. And that's pretty much it. Alright, Sam. You were also asking about the oil cooler. I actually just got to install it because I was going to do the oil change and had to fix this little hose right here, which broke on my wife yesterday, and yeah, it was a big mess and she got pretty scared. Here is the oil cooler. I told you I was going to put it right there, and I mean, it's nice and sturdy, you know. It comes with I think the cooler that you probably got, it comes with these little things here, so it can be nice and flexible in there too, and you know, avoids noise or stuff like that. And then the hoses, you know, go to the oil cooler, and it's installed in a sandwich right there. So it goes the stock oil cooler, then the sandwich adapter, and then the filter. And these I don't remember that it came with instructions on, you know, which one goes out and which one comes in. I think it's pretty straightforward. You just plug it in. You don't have to worry about which one goes out and which one comes in, because this thing doesn't really care about that either. Alright, and I think that's pretty much it for that. Alright.